I'm Jessie.
And I'm Lisa.
Welcome to Becoming the Message.
You might remember at the start of this year, we talked a lot about how to make your previous year a building block for your next year. I think as we talked about those principles, we had no idea really of the year that was ahead of us, the challenges that were going to be there, the growth opportunity that was going to come with those challenges. But as we're coming towards the end of the year, we're thinking a little bit more about how do we reposition ourselves to actually continue to grow as much as we can and to get what we need from this year.
Yeah, and I think we just caught ourselves saying things like, I just can't wait for 2020 to be over, let this year just be finished, let's move on to 2021. But actually that's not the mindset that we want to carry. That's not how we want to close out this year at all.
Absolutely. And as we've been reflecting on what have we actually got from this year, it's been a challenging year. There's been a lot of restrictions put in place across the globe, but I think one universal thing we're taking from this year is actually learning how to be present in the now. Like, what does it look like to actually take what we can from really small things, being mindfully present in every moment of the day. So it might be going for a walk, it might be connecting with a friend on the phone, but really small things have actually become the really important things this year.
Yeah, and we've kind of had to do that because we can't plan for the future. Yeah. And that's a really interesting space to be in, actually, with knowing I can't really plan for the future. I don't know what's coming next. How do I just enjoy this moment? And I think that's something that I want to take into next year and the years to come as well, that it's really important to just be able to find joy in whatever's happening regardless of what might happen next.
Absolutely. And we talked a little bit as well about kind of introspection and how there's so much invitation into that because we've so much time.
So much time to think about what we might be doing wrong, what we could be doing better, planning life.
Yeah, and we even find on the phone to each other, you're thinking about things that wouldn't normally come up, but you're thinking about kind of your 5-year plan or your 10-year plan and really talking about that this is not necessarily a season where we actually get to figure out all that stuff because it's really hard to plan right now.
Yeah.
And any of the plans that we have in place are potentially getting changed or we're not sure when they're going to happen. So it's trying to slow that down and not get too caught up in all the other things that we could be planning.
Yeah, and I mean, introspection is sometimes a bad idea at the best of times, but amid a global pandemic and with all of these other things happening, I've found it's really important when I catch myself going to that space where I'm trying to assess my life and who I am and, you know, what kind of person I am and where I'm going. It's just not the time for that.
Yeah. And I think something that's come up as well this year is around timelines. So we all have this universal idea of what a timeline looks like, of when we should be in education, when we should be having children, when we should be in our career moves, when we should be where we should be in our career moves. And I think a lot of that has come up as well in terms of the introspection in ways that aren't necessarily that helpful. And I think when you're putting that pressure on yourself at the best of times, it's difficult, but especially amid what's been happening this year, those timelines really don't mean a lot, and trying to stay in that mind frame of actually, I'm doing the best with what I have right now, and there's some goals I can move towards and I'm going to do those, but there's other moves that actually are on hold right now, and the waiting is part of what this year has brought.
Yeah. And I found, I mean, for me personally, I had loads of plans for this year. A lot of speaking opportunities that we were going to do, and quite a few things I was quite excited about, felt like I was moving forward, and everything's been cancelled. And I've really had to learn to let go of what I thought would be done by the end of this year. But that might come up next year or the year after. It doesn't matter. And we can't be fixed on timelines in this season at all.
Absolutely. And I think depending on what your life stage is, there'll be certain expectations of that life stage.
Yes, that's really true.
So for us, we're in the single stage of our life, we're used to frips away, we're used to seeing friends.
We did so many trips.
So many trips, we love travel. So like that's
they all got cancelled.
Life-giving thing to us. Like that's actually helps our mood, that helps us stay encouraged, that helps the pieces of our life maybe that aren't where people think they should be or society thinks they should be. These are the things that feed us in the now. So when they got taken away, there was a bit of a sense of crap, like what are we going to do without that? And I think again, staying in the mind frame of okay, maybe dating isn't something we can do as much of as we might want, or maybe travel isn't, but actually we still are in the life stage we're in, and we can't press fast forward on that, and we still have loads of positives that we can take from this life stage, even as the world has slowed down a little bit.
Yeah. So all of that to say, we found it really helpful to reposition our mindset for the rest of this year, to focus on being present, to focus on what are the gifts of this season, how can we let go of our timelines, not be too introspective, and actually bring hope into the next few months.
Absolutely. And I think hope is a really important thing that we've talked about. Hope definitely gets diminished when we're waiting on things, when things aren't happening the way we think they should be. When we get introspective, hope definitely for me disintegrates.
And when we can't plan.
And when we can't plan, and when the things that we love to do have been taken out of the equation. But actually there's so much hope. There's so much hope for the things that really matter. And as you said at the beginning, it's not necessarily the things we thought we'd grow in or that we wanted to grow in that we've grown in, but some of the stuff I've grown in this year I don't ever want to lose. It's actually much more important than some of the stuff I've grown in seasons that have been much easier. So it's taking that with us and actually allowing that to spur hope for all the things that are to come, because this is not going to last forever, and there's so much to be hopeful for going into the next year.
Yeah, and just because things have looked really different and we can't plan ahead doesn't mean good things aren't coming.
So we just hope that you join us in repositioning yourself for the last few months of 2020, and we look forward to talking to you again next month.
Bye.